there, readers and writers, what is up? It is me, your girl, booKCase. How you doing? So I need to go write, but I'm also like, I don't want to write, but I do, but I'm like, I could read a book right now. So I need to get motivated to write. So I thought we would help get that motivational juice going, help me kick myself in the booty, just take off writing at a sprint with a nice little writing tag. This one's appropriately called the writer's book tag. Nice, simple, to the point, unlike me in every way. Let's get into this. The first question is about genres. What is my favorite genre to write in? I currently write in two genres, YA. Actually thinking about now, it's like, maybe it's starting off YA, but as the series progresses, it's going to go to new adult, then to adult. Kind of like what Harry Potter did, but it went from like middle grade to young adult over the series. But I also write in fantasy. I am leaning towards loving fantasy a little bit more right now because I am super excited about my fantasy project, which is called Project Muddy Bones. It's like my newest current project. I'm working on it now. I'm writing for my other young adult project, Project SE, is in draft 2 right now and rewrites. Fantasy just has a lot more world building that you can just shove in there. Like, you can world build fine in YA, but you can just make up whatever you want in fantasy. As long as it makes sense, there is no limits, and I love that. I also just like sneaking in little bits of folklore and like little stuff our characters would talk about as easily as we use like phrases and sayings in our cities and societies. Just those little snippets that are so casual and common to them that really like expand our knowledge of the current world we are reading in. Question 2, do you prefer to write short stories or novels? Definitely novels. I like having that word count, like, ooh, I have more space to stretch out with. I'm not that good at like precise outlining. I like to have room to wiggle, but with short stories, you gotta like pack it in a lot. Quick about it. Quick isn't my forte. Also, about 3 years ago, there was a short story competition that I entered in. You had to write a short story of certain genres, had to be less than 5,000 words. You turn it in, you win, you get a lot of money, and you can go to California. I turned mine in. Mine was a crime mystery about like these two police officers transporting a prisoner across county lines. And I had high hopes for that thing. I loved it. The one person I allowed to read it, I think, was just trying to hint to me that she did not like it. And I agree, it was actually, I look at it now and I'm like, yikes. It wasn't that good. I had definitely not found my own writing voice at that time. And the word limit was like 5,000, but I got like 4,900. Like, I was using too much description. That was my main issue. And also some of the dialogue was just like, no. But I am gladly matured as a writer since then. Maybe I'll go back and fix up that short story and put it on Wattpad or something. Number 3, who inspired you to write? So my dad used to tell me these bedtime stories about, because my favorite animal at the time was like a Dalmatian. He told me stories about these like 5 Dalmatians who would just like go on adventures and find treasure and stuff like that. And during elementary school, I would take those stories, just like keep imagining the story in my head, like on a playground and stuff like that. And I would like make up my own adventures in my head. They turn into whole new adventures with like no more Dalmatians in them. And so that's when I decided that I need to write stuff down, and actually I want to do this. I want to write. I want to share stories with people. So my daddy telling bedtime stories is definitely one. Another author who's personally inspired me is Christopher Paolini, author of the Aragon series, because I was homeschooled. He was homeschooled. He published his book around age 15, which is also when he like graduated from high school. So academically wise and just like career wise, he was a big inspiration and kind of like a hero to me. I am way past 15 now, but I can still try. Number 4, do I have a writing muse? I think I already answered this with Christopher Paolini, but you know, music is my muse. I love like gathering soundtracks and playlists, assigning them to certain characters or just books and totals. I love classical music that I can just write to. I like heavy metal music for when I have a fight scene. I like me a good rap or just some nice violins playing. It all depends on who the playlist is assigned to. And sometimes I've been inspired by something I heard in a song to kind of add into a book of mine. So definitely music does play a big part in this. One book I have particularly in mind is like 4th in the series. That book would not have existed if I did not listen to a Michael Jackson song. Number 5, do you do NaNoWriMo or are you going to plan to? I have done NaNoWriMo. I have failed NaNoWriMo. I do not like NaNoWriMo. I would never NaNoWriMo again. No. I really messed up my book with NaNoWriMo. I was in such a rush just to get the word count, and I like justified it. I was saying to myself, if you just reach the word count, we can go back and edit and fix whatever mess we made. I was always too tired or too busy by the end of meeting the word count that I just didn't. And because my book with a project I was working on, Project Muddy Bones, is so character and emotionally driven for the first like quarter of the book, I was basically basically skipping the inner monologuing and just the feelings of these characters just to like keep the plot going. So if I did not know how the character was feeling in the previous chapter, it was getting harder and harder to write him for the next chapters. So I eventually stopped and just went back and rewrote everything I wrote for NaNoWriMo. So I honestly do not plan on doing it ever again. Number 6, do you like live write-ins? So I've only participated in one live stream before with good friends Victoria and Christy. They were reading on their live stream, and this was during Nano, I think. It was during Nano, and so I was writing. I actually got a lot done with that, so I do like being part of these live streams. I've never actually watched another person's live stream and not been a part of it, so I do feel I'd love it just as much. And same girl Christy, sometimes we would do writing sprints together, just like give us 25 minutes and talk to each other on the phone about what we accomplished. And it is so much easier to get writing done when you have someone actively like cheering you on and working beside you too. Like, I think writing friends are so important, and that's why I'm dying for authortube. I want the writers. I just want all of us to go to a coffee shop together, get out our laptops or our notebooks and just write together. Number 7, do you write your first draft on paper or on a computer? I definitely do it on computer because I make so many spelling errors, just mistakes. Sometimes I want to move this sentence over here. Sometimes I want to add in something completely new in between this sentence and this sentence. Stuff I cannot do as easily if it's on paper. So for my own ease and for the sake of my poor delicate wrist, I do it on computer. However, sometimes if I know I'm on a difficult chapter and I'm stuck but I have to go to work or something, I will take a piece of paper with me, and if I have free time, I'll just like try to write out the scene on paper, and that has definitely helped before. So I appreciate writing on both computer and the paper, but I need for myself and my own needs the computer so I can use that delete button whenever I want. And now the last question, am I a plotter, a plantser, or a pantser? Plotters are like the most meticulous kind of plotting. Pantsers, they fly by the seat of their pants, and the plantser is in between. That is what I is. I love making outlines, just like bullet pointing the major plot lines and what the characters are doing in them. However, the in-between bits, like getting from introduction to character A to a bank robbery the next chapter later, how they transition to those next story bits, I leave completely out. Like, that's up for my imagination later to decide. I have the big things planned, but I let the little things be decided on a whim, which is what makes sense for the characters and their personalities to do together. It's honestly led to some really good sudden changes that honestly made the story a lot better, because by that point I'm kind of just letting the characters write it then. And y'all, now I'm feeling properly motivated to write. I'm gonna pull up my YouTube playlist for my characters, my boys, and I'm gonna write this thing. One of my New Year's resolutions was to finish Project Muddy Bones by the end of 2021, and it's going to be done, but I need you to cheer me on. So tell me what you guys are working on down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Get writing, my friends.